twice.
I get to do the introduction and sort of the easy talking because I did the PowerPoint, and then Dan gets surprised by what I'm going to put up for him to talk about. So we'll just see how he does. We do have a lot of stories to tell. We could keep you here for a week, but we promise we won't. We may run over a little bit. We'll try to keep it to a minimum. But before we start with our stories, a couple of things. The first is we'll tell you a lot about what we've seen and what we thought we learned, but we're amateurs. We're observers. We're not zoologists. And our sample size, our studies are, 2 foxes, 28 raccoons, a couple of owls. So we will tell you what we've observed, and we may tell you what we've concluded from that, but it shouldn't be taken as anything more than our observations. Second is when we say we, or when Dan says we mean Dan. At some point in this presentation, he's bound to say, yeah, we built a couple of nesting platforms 30 feet up in a couple of live oak trees, and then we put 2 cameras and some mics up there. That wasn't we. I can get about 5 feet up in a ladder, and then I start feeling nauseated, and I back down very carefully. So we means Dan. The last thing is we came to a presentation here a couple of months ago, and it was by a very knowledgeable young woman from Parks and Wildlife, I think, and she was talking about coexisting with coyotes and how to get along, or how to tolerate, or how to not irritate.
Get down low when you pet them.
Yeah, your local coyotes.
Yeah.
But the key thing that we took away from that talk was that you should be cautious about dealing with wildlife, and that you should really work quite hard to make your backyard inhospitable to wild animals. Move your pet food inside, don't leave water bowls out, just don't do things that will attract the subtext with sort of problem animals. We do the exact opposite. Absolutely. Everything she said don't do, we do.
She was talking to us.
Yeah, she was talking to us. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. She said don't leave water out. We have about 10 water bowls, and as soon as we get home, I have to fill up a paddling pool for the baby raccoons. Because they just love it. I mean, who can resist? She said, you should be really, really cautious about getting close to animals because of the threat of rabies, really, and you never know. And we are sensible about it, but occasionally not that sensible. But we're not advising you to, go and snuggle with a raccoon. We're not, but occasionally. We have been known to. Dan watches the Nextdoor, the Nextdoor website. He's built a much sterner stuff than I am, and so he will keep an eye on that. And he said to me once that someone had posted that she saw a raccoon outside standing on its hind legs, and that it was clearly rabid. And the thing is, raccoons don't stand up because they're rabid. They stand up because they're short. And they want to be able to see something. It's like me, I'm quite short, so if I need something, I stand on a chair or get him to do it. Anyway, so everything that presenter said was absolutely right and very sensible, and we would like to apologize and disclaimer ourselves, if that's not a word, but I just invented it ahead of time because, we're not quite like that. Here are some of our favorite stories. They're edited videos. Dan edits videos and narrates them and puts them on a website. And these are some of our favorite stories. So we probably won't get through them all because they're each a few minutes long, but we'll the favorites. So you pick where you want to start and you take over.
Oh, here, take the ringtail.
I think we need to do the titmouse one.
Well, we will do that.
Okay, we'll come back to
Yeah.
we'll come back to the titmouse in just a sec. This is an owl box, about, I don't know, it's about 18, 20 feet up in the tree. And
Never had an owl.
yeah, it's never had an owl. We're not very good at getting owls. And this ringtail took up a little bit of brief residence. Just truly, it was just brief. A couple of days, she had been in there, and on this one particular day, this probably. Yes, you just saw what looked like happened is what happened. This guy kind of.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, no camera tricks there. And apparently they can do this, and they know how to snatch them and eat them, and I guess they're a little spicy or
Yeah.
something, but
Yeah.
they're good with it. So,
Yeah, I mean, this is Texas. This is a Texan ringtail, and they like their food
yeah,
hot.
so this is one day in the early spring. It's late February, a couple of years ago actually, where this fox. It was a Saturday morning, so we were home. Happened to see this happening live, which is a good thing because then we can kind of, target in the cameras and this titmouse gets the idea that I'm building a nest and I need some fur, and the easiest place to get it is going to be from this sleep. Crazy. Yeah. I remember with the video, this same video that we put on the website, we started it off with factoid of the day is that foxes eat songbirds, and
Yeah, they do.
They do. We see it, and this songbird knows that, and yeah. There's a term in psychology called habituation. And this titmouse knows how to train this fox to just chill. It's okay. And habituates the fox to the plucking, and finally the fox is like, okay, I give.
We were accused, I take care of all the social media stuff, the comments, the YouTube stuff, and one outraged viewer accused us of drugging the fox. And this is fake, it's fake.
See, we decided that you've heard the term, the expression imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. Well, we think that accusations of fraud are the most sincere form of flattery. Yeah, pretty wild. Pretty wild.
Yeah.
And we do see that we film the birds inside the cavities as they're building nests, and they do in fact use animal fur. Everybody's probably seen a little bit of that if you pulled apart a bird nest. And this is at least one way they get. It's funny. Right after this, it got picked up kind of internationally. Somebody was putting out a paper about this, a scientific paper on, wow, birds pluck fur from live animals, and a bunch of people then chimed in on the sort of international media theme of, oh yeah, I've seen they'll pluck it from their dogs who are sleeping.
From people even.
Who I didn't know any of this until we encountered it this day. so yeah, pretty crazy.
We got a hit in The Economist of all
Yeah.
places, which seemed
New York Times.
a little bit odd.
It was funny.
Okay, where do you want to go next?
Just run across them there.
This
Yeah.
is one of we have no idea what was happening here. but it's a great story.
We had seen it from a few minutes before this. It's mom and baby raccoon. It's in the spring, obviously, about now, really. The baby raccoons are about this size right now, and we had seen on one of the cameras, we picked this up, that mom, that's a hollow log mom's coming out of it, that she just literally passed through in that 1 minute right there. And she's kind of looking for a place to stash the baby for the day. So she goes across, about 150 feet across this open field to raccoon daycare. And she carries the pup up over this corral of brush that leads to raccoon daycare. And oops, it turns out this is actually fox daycare. And this is Daddy Fox here, who's here with a couple of pups. Three, I think more like 3 or 4 pups maybe.
Two.
Was it just 2?
I think it was just two.
Okay, good. And Mom Raccoon is gonna walk baby into what she still is just sure is raccoon daycare. and Dad Fox kind of circles away. The raccoons and the foxes are equals, really, in terms of who rules the roost. Nobody rules that roost. And Mom Raccoon's, whoa, like, what is going on here? Baby, stay put. I promise this is raccoon daycare.
We try to stop the raccoons from drinking this early in the morning, but
Mom's gone.
poor thing.
She's gone. Yes. This has an okay ending. So.
Yeah.
Spoiler, but yeah. This fox wasn't going to have it, but I thought this must be some sort of a weird trick, that somebody's pulling on the fox, because you would think the fox would just kill the baby, feed it to the pups that are underneath that stump, underground. That is an underground den that baby is going into.
With 2 fox kids in it.
Fully loaded with fox pups. And there's a little bit of camera, underneath there. Here comes baby underneath. That's a natural den that the animals have made through the years. And a couple of pups under here who, if we had the audio on this, at one point it was like a lion growling. The fox going after this baby raccoon. And the raccoon just curls up in a corner here, really not out of the way. Ultimately,
Oh, sorry.
Whoops, sorry, can you?
Yep.
Ultimately, about 10 hours later here, after the baby foxes have just decided we're going to have to put up with this apparently all day. At night, this is about midnight-ish here, the baby raccoon sneaks out of this place, gets back across the field to that same hollow log, connects with Mom again, and Mom's like, sorry. How was your day, honey? It was the weirdest, truly, it was the weirdest of all the weird stuff we've ever seen. It was.
No,
She had several.
She had 4, and she had misplaced 2 that Saturday morning. And one she picked up, and they woke us up because they were upset, these 2 little ones. They were tucked up under the roof. And one she picked up and took off to its siblings. And this one, we have no idea what she was on. She had some kind of little infarct, and off she went. And it's extraordinary that she would do that she would not just take the baby off to where the others were. It's extraordinary that she would drop it in the fox den instead of going, whoops, sorry guys, and turn around. And it's extraordinary that the daddy fox didn't just kill it.
Yeah.
They killed baby raccoons.
Every bit of it was bizarre.
Yeah.
All of it was bizarre. And we've never seen anything like it again. It was a one-time deal.
Such a great story, though.
Yeah, but the baby reconnected with mom and was fine, and it's like nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
Years of therapy, though, I'm sure.
Years of therapy.
And not just about foxes, it was about mom.
Yeah, it was about mom. Yeah. Okay, where should we go? Beehive?
Sure. Same, maybe the same ringtail, we don't know. Same owl box here, owlless box here. This is two ringtails where the rest of that story, frankly, is fascinating. We got a mating thing with them. Actually, that was prior to this day here, but wow, we had a swarm of wild bees. I assume wild, I guess they were, come in, and this is time-lapsed over, let's just say 5 minutes in to the first bee coming in, and let's say this is 15 minutes in, and coming in here, maybe 30 minutes in. This camera is right in there, and one of the weird things about these security cameras, I don't know if you have security cameras in here, but this plain old security cameras like you see in a restaurant or a bank or somewhere like that. Well, the weird thing about them is that they will focus like right here. Like they will focus on their own glass globe. And consequently, when a bee gets right on the glass globe, you can focus on it. And when they then build honeycomb on it, you can see it. And when they fill it, that's filling the honeycomb with this like spraying out the snout of they go in and kind of paint this honey in there, and it was fascinating. The camera this is a couple of years ago, the camera's still in there. Can't go get it, it's still an active beehive. But on the website, there's a lengthier, on our website that we have, a lengthier, showing of the painting in of the honey. And it was truly amazing. I'd never seen anything like it. So yeah.
Okay, so great
horned owls. Yeah.
Great horned owls.
Yeah, we have built a couple of about 30 foot up.
I told you.
Man-made, nests really for great horned owls in an attempt to attract them. It works sort of, in that this is filmed on the nest there. They've gone up there, they've courted on the nest, they've mated on the nest, they've practically signed a contract that they're moving in to the nest, and then they don't. And so we've never, but they don't finish it. They don't have eggs. They've never laid eggs there. We don't know if they're sterile. We don't know if they have another nest somewhere nearby, and they maybe claim 2 or 3 sites or something. But we've unfortunately never gotten owl chicks, and which I would give my right arm to have. So this is in a different tree out on the dry creek. We live on Williamson Creek there on William Cannon, and it turned out Jane found one day the songbirds were mobbing somebody. She goes down to the dry creek. She finds that, oh, it's an owl. That's a big old stretch, an impressive stretch.
Owl yoga.
Yeah, owl yoga. And she found this owl roosting, and for a couple of years it's been a routine roosting site. But again, they don't produce chicks, so we are unhappy about that. Yeah, so it's like these beautiful yellow eyes that you read about, and boy, they're amazing. They're very unperturbed.
He's looking at himself in the glass.
There's a flat face
Yeah.
on this camera, so there's a little bit
Yeah.
of mirror going on there. Yes,
There's an owl in there.
yes. Again, back up on the creek, we got some nice shots up there. These are remote controlled cameras to where there's no camera operator out here. You won't get anywhere near a great horned owl with a person there. So, but with these cameras, you know, security cameras, basically, they're fine with them. They're not bothered. They're up on the nest, you know, about, I don't know, 4 feet, say, away from the owls, and they don't bother them.
Yeah, they don't care.
So yeah. So
On one of them, when you said the nesting pair, you can see when you moved the camera, they knew it.
oh
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
they can hear it.
They can hear
They can hear it. They tune into it, and what we typically, the kind of camera technique they have motor drives in them. They're pretty quiet, but they can hear it, and they're aware. So we try to, in general, wait until they're doing something, they're moving, they're making their own tiny bit of noise, and we'll move a camera right then. You know, if we're trying to zoom out or zoom in or switch it or whatever. Or if if one of them's scratching or plucking around at the nest, they'll make a little bit of noise that'll cover our camera sound, and we can move them a little bit. So otherwise, we try to leave them. Yeah.
They're pretty tolerant, though. You know,
They are.
All of these
Yeah.
animals and birds they're urban. We live in Austin. This is our backyard. There are trucks going by outside, you know.
We live
And-
on the William Cannon.
Yeah.
We face on the William Cannon.
Let's do Mama Deer
Sure.
and the coyotes, because we've got a little bit more fox stuff
Yeah, good.
later, and
Good.
this is a great story. And I might speed through bits of it, because
Yeah, we routinely get coyotes coming through. Coyotes are very suspicious of mechanical stuff, of cameras, of whatever. If you want to keep a coyote from coming in your gate, move a rock, move a log, move something. It's like, whoa, I'm not going in there. So Mama Deer, who we had known for about 7 years or so,
Yeah.
she kind of covered this territory and whatnot, and ruled the roost. I'm telling you, you know, among all the other does, among the bucks, she ruled the roost.
she was very cranky.
Yes, you know, but she would have twins most years. Some years she'd keep both. You know, they both survive and whatnot. That's her. You know, they do this next step thing, is they'll run sometimes, that she was just doing there. But the coyote, they're being pursued right here by a coyote daytime hunting. You know, and occasionally we've seen some really high-speed chases go through here that are a blur. They're just a blur, and it takes almost a little imagination to decide for sure that, yeah, that was a coyote. It's the only thing that's going to chase them at top speed around here. The foxes truly the foxes like to play with the deer and follow them along and play with them, but they don't ever chase and run after them and whatnot. So plenty of coyotes through the Williamson Creek is kind of a corridor for all sorts of wild animals. Okay, yeah, that's Mama Deer going after a coyote that she came about this far from stomping. You know, and so there you can see how just how close she was to, you know, hurting and then probably killing the coyote there, because the coyote was after the little ones, And I'm telling you, that's a little island of brush right there. Round and round. And that's not just a repeat. She was actually doing that. And there was a little bit of decoying going on here where there's a second coyote present right here. There were two there. That's real. That there were two coyotes to where one of them takes her around and round and round and round and tires her out and tag teams with another one who steps in fresh and can go after the chase.
But they both survived. They all survived.
Everybody survived here. But the coyotes are hugely clever, skilled team hunters. I mean, they carry walkie-talkies practically. It's like they can, you hear, I'll hear, bring them in here, I'll cut them off, I mean, they're very, very skilled at it. And so it's, and with all the cameras, we can often follow them through 6 or 8 cameras and see what's really going on. And it's fascinating. It really is. It's fascinating. There have been several times with deer and coyote chases going on there where they'll get hold of the coyote will get hold of one of the fawns or whatever, and then there's an escape, and it goes on for a half a mile here. Fascinating to see. It truly is.
This is where having so many cameras really works so well, because Dan can, that story is a compilation of footage from 12 different cameras.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah.
And we, sitting in our kitchen, we don't know how this stuff is playing out. And so with the baby raccoon in the fox den, I knew it was going to be a disaster. And I said to Dan, I don't want you to talk about it. Just don't tell me what happened. But by the next day, it was very clear the raccoon had sneaked out, and they lived happily ever after.
Yeah. And she happened to go back to a spot where there was a camera.
Yeah.
To connect with mom again.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we don't know what happened. Probably most of the time we don't know what happened.
But sometimes
occasionally they show up. In fact, just about 4 days ago, a mama deer comes in and drops 2 fawns in front of the camera. And it's like, I mean drops 2 fawns. Like she sort of wanders around in a circle like this, and finally, plunk. out comes the fawn, and it just happened. To be on the camera with a lot. Yes.
I don't have to wait for questions on the end, but how
No,
do you view
go for it.
61 cameras worth of film to find good stuff?
It's a good question, and there's a lot of, I'm going to say, recording strategy to it in terms of how I can then blast through thousands of clips and see. There's one that may have something on.
I mean, I think one of the key things is the recording is motion activated. So if nothing's happening, it doesn't record. But
That's
often,
not necessarily true.
yeah, often when nothing interesting, yes, exactly. So it's not a long, continuous recording. They're little short clips. But
You chop them into like 12-second long maximum clips to where truly there's a lot of strategy to it in different locations and whatnot of how do I get it to where I can blast through 10,000 clips here.
But still, you have to do that, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because we may record 50,000 clips in a day. It's just, they're 12 seconds long, but times 60, but a lot of it, and on windy days, it's horrible. It can almost become just a waste, but it's hard. But yeah, there's some strategy to it, and some good software and whatnot, so yeah.
we miss things, but
Oh yeah.
we
No,
still,
you have to resign yourself to
Yeah.
missing some stuff, or you'll never get through it.
okay.
Watching some of it live during the day?
Yeah. We watch a lot live. And in fact, like for the last, say, 2 weeks, we've been live streaming. I don't know if you guys are familiar with explore.org. They live stream stuff, and they've been live streaming our Fox family until this morning, at which point
They moved.
they moved finally.
So we'll show you that.
So
then
yeah.
Next.
Yeah, yeah.
This
yeah,
is the
good
Fox
time.
family.
Yeah,
These guys just moved this morning.
yeah, so,
But-
yeah, this is fresh video. That actually, up on the tall stump, that is a second male. That's an important point here, that's friendly.
No, isn't that Dolly?
Well,
I
it
think
could be.
that's
I
Dolly,
could be
yeah.
wrong, but there's been a second male who may be an offspring of this fox right here. This one, one of these is very identifiable because he has a broken ear. We call him broken ear.
The little guy on the left, on the
Yeah,
far.
down on the ground there.
Yeah.
Has a broken left ear that's permanently mangled, and it's gotten worse lately. He's apparently a fighter, you know, and gets torn up. But maybe one of his earlier offspring males, you know, comes and brings food occasionally to the family here, who's not part of this. It's not part of this family, this other male, and comes in and brings in food. And there's massive tail swishing that goes on. I mean, happy. Everybody's just in love with each other. You know, this is the little one. This is kind of at the back door of a. This is a man-made den. I built it.
I did actually help with this, but only briefly. I think I took one bucket of dirt and picked up some leaves.
Building a den is a real project. It is planning and execution. You know, but getting the cameras where you can see what you think you're going to be able to see here. And this little guy moved out this morning. You know, so but real cutie. You know, it's hard to not like a baby fox. I'm telling you.
The thing with this baby fox is that, I mean, they stayed in the den for 2.5 weeks, and we were sure the kit was female. 2.5 weeks is a very long time, and we knew the kit was female because several people watching the live stream had said, it's a girl. And we, okay, good, it's a girl, whatever. And we have a live stream watcher who persistently wants to name our critters, and he wanted to name her Precious, and we just
Sorry,
weren't.
we're not doing that.
We weren't going to do that, and I've turned down his names frequently enough in the past that I feel bad about it. A bit bad about it. No, I feel bad about it. So what we did was we came up with a name that was a female version, sort of his name. He goes by French something. And so we thought, okay, well, Francis, we'll call her Francis. Then we discovered the kit actually is a boy. So it turns out that, and then much discussion about whether we change it to Frankie or Frank or Francis with an I. And the naming committee, which is Dan, me, and a friend who also watches all this stuff, decided we didn't like Francis with an I, we didn't like Frank, we didn't like Frankie. So, and given the fact that transitioning here in Texas now from one gender to another is a dodgy proposition, we decided we'll just keep calling this little boy Francis with an E. So, and he seems pretty happy with it, actually. This is Francis. And this is another one. This is a really, oops, what did I do? Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
I'll replay this too.
Yeah, the raccoons will come in and it just sort of nicely invade the den area of the foxes. And again, they're kind of equals in terms of nobody's on top there. Nobody wants a big fight over it, but they'll get, you know, pretty snarly with each other, but nobody gets hurt. And they will eventually.
The raccoons were just looking for cached food.
Yeah. And baby here was going to try out for the gymnastics.
Isn't that great, though? This is Dolly, the mama. We named her after Dolly Parton. one of the nicest people on the planet. Sweet things. The same guy that we named Francis after was terribly concerned, has been terribly concerned and upset about the fact that the kit bites his mother's face. Disturbing, shows lack of respect, and will harm Dolly. Ears will be damaged.
And our question is, what's your point? What do we...
What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, what are we supposed to do about this?
Okay, so I'll go back to the beginning here.
Okay.
This is a very old video.
Here's how we feel about coyotes.
Yeah. I mean, we worry about the other critters when coyotes come in. Don't get us wrong.
We do, yeah.
We really do. But this little guy, this is one of our earliest videos, and the quality isn't very good. But look at this little one. He was playing with a stick for a little while.
Yeah, he's just out playing.
Oh.
Truly, just playing.
So sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
All by himself.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was funny.
Where are we then?
Okay, let's see.
This is.
Yeah.
People don't like skunks either, but we defied people to count the babies, and honestly, we weren't sure. I think initially we thought it was 5, and then we discovered that it was 6, or it might have been 7. But aren't they great? This is how they all move, just in a sort of huddle around the mother.
Human kids have the red light, green light thing. Go and stop, run into each other. And they do the same thing. Yeah, Mama leads it.
Yeah, it's very sweet. The skunks, each skunk has unique coloring. So we love the foxes and raccoons, but we can actually identify the skunks a bit easier, even though they're not very nice to us. I mean, they're not nasty to us, but they kind of ignore us. Anyway, we love that one. This is a great one. This is for the children amongst us. Over to you.
This guy, starts looking like he's going to yak something up. Here comes a tongue, and then, It's called casting a pellet. The biologists need to have a nice name for yakking something up. Yeah.
We especially like the way after he threw it up, he sort of looked down at it. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. So we go down periodically to the creek bed and pick up cast pellets.
This was a surprise for us.
Yeah, river otter. William Cannon. Like, really?
Yeah. Lonely little
going
thing.
up towards headed to the new construction at 290, near the baseball fields, and, the Wyatt Oak Hill, that whole area. It had about 1.5 miles to go to get there, to get to the construction, which started the very next day after this video, but 1.5 miles to get to water. So he's just going and going and going through Dry Creek for probably another 1.5 miles Dry Creek that he had gone through, she had gone through to get to our place, and then another 1.5 miles to get to water.
I was away when that was filmed, and Dan texted me and said, "Oh, this is amazing." And so I sent him out with a little water bowl, a bottle of water, and a can of sardines.
Go find this otter.
Go find this otter.
He's got to be hungry.
What time of the year was that?
February.
Was it?
Yeah. This is, for anyone who doesn't quite believe that foxes climb trees, let me show you that bit again.
Yeah. Foxes could climb a telephone pole.
Something else came through on the top.
Yeah.
Or it may have been a bug, maybe. I
Let me
didn't
see.
notice it.
Yeah,
bugs.
it's a bug.
Insect. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
See the deer down there in the corner?
Down in the lower right, there's a deer
Yeah.
over there.
And they all just kind of watch each other.
Yeah, yeah. These two foxes are thinking, I think we can take him.
Yeah.
Be real quiet, and we'll jump on it.
Okay.
We
see.
and let me say about that, we did a piece for the BBC Wildlife that came out at Christmas, basically. They were doing an hour-long thing on wild dogs of the world, wild canids, and knew that foxes climb trees. They found us through our website, and we did some of our own filming, and they came and did some filming, and you know, so that we actually made it into the big time of BBC.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of work. It was too much work. Probably resulted in torn up elbows there. So yeah.
Let me see, we have run out of time.
Yeah.
Paul, this is going to be so fast, you won't even believe it.
You all having a good time?
This is, as I said first off, I did the presentation, Dan was busy, so I got to include what I wanted to include. Raccoons get such bad press, and with things like, the fox den and the raccoons blundering through, lots of people, I've been exposed a lot to a lot of, raccoons are smelly and they kill cats and they're all rabid and all that kind of thing. So this is a tiny little quick session about why we should love raccoons. And we should love them because they know how to really have a good time. Isn't he lovely? It was Liontail. He was the most delicious, beautiful, friendly, smart raccoon, and he just loved to swim, Liontail.
And he liked to slide.
Yeah, well, he mainly, yeah. And we should love them because raccoon mamas, this is just from a couple of weeks ago, they're the sweetest, most loving mamas in the world. And this, once again, this is an owl box that doesn't have an owl in it. But it does have a mama with 2 babies, and they stayed there for 3 weeks. And raccoons have hands.
They have arms and they have hands, and they use them like our arms and hands with their babies.
And that's my next point. They have hands, and they know how to use them. Watch this. This is pitch dark. This is infrared. It's an infrared camera, so we see black and white. But she's in a darkened box, and there's a bug in there. And she's thinking, that's annoying.
I might have that. This is in the dark.
Let's just watch that again.
This is on night vision.
It's lovely.
yeah,
Look at this.
yeah.
She focuses on it. That's what we would do, right?
Easy.
We also love them because they're so clean. I don't know why this one keeps doing that, but we'll just ignore it. This is Liontail again. But it's just, I mean,
Out
come
on the
on.
deck after a swim.
This is pretty good, right? He was a very, very, very clean raccoon. They're self-sufficient. I showed you the swimming pool. They want their swimming pool. I was late, I guess, one night. And this is a baby. This is a little one. Where's the pool? What happened to why didn't the girl put the pool up? Humans are so unreliable. So I put the pool up. And they never let caution get in the way of curiosity. Raccoons are fascinated by the smell of skunk bottoms. And the smell, and also apparently the feel of skunk bottom. And we see
We've
them.
seen this happen several times.
Yeah.
Skunks, a raccoon, a skunk, and a raccoon just getting right up there with
We'll
hands.
just replay that little bit
Yeah.
so that you have sleepless nights tonight. It's pretty good, huh?
It's hard to imagine the skunk tolerating this, but
They do.
they do.
Was there food in that bowl?
I plead the fifth. We definitely put out a lot of water, but we have been known occasionally to feed critters. Any questions? This is also, of course, because I did this is a tired mama raccoon.
Put up the inside the box titmouse, just for a question,
Oops, yeah, sure.
Yeah, can we take questions? Yes.
So you didn't have any squirrels, and I just bring this up because you showed the coyote having fun.
Right.
At my office, I was looking out the window one day, and there was a squirrel, and he had a stick, and he just kept like going around this stick and rolling around.
Oh, yeah.
And then it went over the ledge, and he went over the ledge, and I just went, I don't think I've ever seen a wild animal play like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we see
Squirrels.
so much play. Yeah, go ahead.
Squirrels especially, yes, they play. And I had a whole section of squirrel stuff, but we knew we didn't have time, so I cut it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The squirrels do a breakdancing thing. Some of you surely have seen it, where they'll get out and get frisky and truly start turning flips and spinning almost on their head. I mean, it's crazy. And it's play, basically. Yeah. And we have rock squirrels also that they play, they wrestle. It's just, the way they grow up.
What is a rock squirrel?
They're a dark gray, kind of a black cape on kind of a black cape, I'm going to call, down the middle of their back, and then it goes into a spotty.
I'll show you a picture.
Do you have one? Okay, good.
Sort of a gopher? Not really a gopher?
Say it again.
Not like a gopher?
No, they're
These are rock squirrels.
those are rock squirrels. Yeah. Yeah. So you see the black cape,
Yeah.
sort of.
So a squirrel, but
Yeah, these are babies right here, and they'll handle each other's faces and stuff, and wrestle and play and roll. And they do a little bit of a more slow motion play, a little tai chi-ish than other squirrels or other, than the raccoon. The raccoon pups wrestle and roll all over each other.
we had a squirrel couple and we got to watch them, decide to have a family.
Yeah.
They had a tree right outside our,
Yeah.
Oh,
and they sort of like stretched out and had a cigarette afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes. Yeah. We call that the frog dog.
oh no,
they'll
she's
splat.
talking about post-sex.
Oh, right. I mean, but sure. They may have been hot, trying to go off. But,
Yeah, but these are rock squirrels, and these two babies, see the green bean there, which they grew themselves, by the way. They would they'd share a green bean with one at each end of the green bean. They loved green beans, these guys.
Yeah, cooperative green bean
Yeah.
eating.
What else do we have here? I'll just,
that's
yeah,
the
squirrels.
question I had is what food you put out. For what animals and what food?
We mainly,
What do you
we,
snack, offer snacks?
yeah, we always feed them to, this is another thing that Emery said, do not do. We medicate the foxes and the raccoons for fleas because we'll see them scratching. And in the dens, you can sometimes see fleas all over. So we'll tuck crushed dog flea meds into Nutter Butter cookies, which we're prepared to do an endorsement for the Nutter Butter, the fine people at Nutter Butter. So we feed them those. We make sure the nursing moms get food, and that's usually just sort of dog food of some sort for the raccoons and the foxes. And when we have injured animals, we feed them. And they learn that they can come and get fed, and we keep them alive. Because you talk about why we don't try taking them to...
It's like we kind of work with Awesome Wildlife Rescue some and believe in what they're doing, and we've never successfully trapped an injured animal. We tried, we can't, and we have successfully fed them back into health and avoided the trauma of the capture and the 3 weeks or whatever of being contained in a crate. You know, and their main thing is they need some downtime where they can be fed. It seems like, and it seems like it works. You know, so that and then they're fine. They're back up and running and out of there. So,
Sometimes. I mean,
yeah, sometimes it doesn't always.
a lot of the time they die.
I mean, this year, where we say early spring when our deer, we had a deer, bizarre as it was, broke a hind leg below the knee, dangling last year.
Yeah.
Dangling like a sock, like a wet sock. I mean, completely broken, and this deer healed that thing and is still around.
It was amazing.
It was incredible.
It was like this. We were in despair.
Yeah, we had
survived.
read a little bit on the internet. Oh, yeah, you can occasionally, you know, see one heal it up, and I like, yeah, right. It happened, and I was amazed. Yeah, and the steer's fine. So yeah, it can work if they can survive, you know, and survive the coyotes, you know, through that, because obviously they're not going to be running at top speed, whatever, which they need to be able to do to avoid the coyotes, and other types of animals need to be able to capture food. You know, a coyote, you know, would need to be able to capture food. You know, so.
These are just a few photos I stuck on the end so that, you know, if people had questions, we could show some photos. This is one of our favorites because we read early on, we were looking for, there's no reliable information out there about wild animals that are not either used by humans for sport or food or fur, really. And so there's this repeated stuff, you know, Wikipedia will say something and then it's on every website. And we've read many times that raccoons are solitary. And so that's nine solitary raccoons. And for those,
coincidentally together.
For those of us who love squirrels, a mama squirrel had 4 babies, and again in one of the owl boxes. We've got to stop calling them owl boxes.
Yeah, we do very poorly with getting owls.
Yeah.
We have one screech owl who comes to the same box and has for about 6 years. Who we call Nicky because Nicky has a nick in his, we think, right upper eyelid. And we have a camera right there, this close, so we can identify that it's the same owl each year. And we jump to the conclusion that it's male because it leaves at the appropriate time for, you know, for nesting.
Nicky.
Having chicks. Yeah, here's Nicky, having a big belch. And they have this very tubular, you know, mouth and throat, and then I think whatever the collection point is in here, I forget what they're called, their stomach or whatever it's called. And they can yak up a little cigar shape, you know, through this process here. But both of those are Nicky.
What else do we have? 4 foxes and a den. Lovely little critters. And this is our most recent raccoon family. And this is my favorite thing. This isn't a great photo, but look at that hand.
Yeah. So those guys moved out of that box, say, 10 days ago, 2 weeks?
2 weeks,
2 weeks ago, something like that, yeah.
This is a scorpion mama?
Yeah, scorpion mom with little baby scorpions all over it. This photo I took, you know, doing camera maintenance on an underground camera in one of the fox dens, pull this camera out and I'm just kind of, you know, cleaning and looking at it. Is that where and Mama's in there with, it seemed like 20 little babies on it. You know, I'm not sure how many, I didn't count them, but a lot of little babies on it.
So are you changing the batteries in all these cameras all the time?
They're all hardwired, so no batteries, no wireless. So they run off of an Ethernet cable that supplies power and data. All of them. All of them. How long did it take?
Thousands of hours.
That's some project right
Yeah.
Oh, no, it is, and it's thousands of feet of cable out on our 5 acres.
And what is this, is it being fed into a piece of software where you're like, or
Yeah.
out and then you're just like,
Yeah, we run 5 kind of gaming quality computers side by side that can handle the incoming
pulling
data.
off local to those computers?
Yeah, it's pulled in, it's processed, it's recorded, you know, and it can be converted into more usable video files, you know, and whatnot. So yeah, a lot of data, a lot of data.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that begs the question that I've had for a while, and that is, for those of us who may have a single game camera out back and are really happy, how do we elevate our game several orders of magnitude?
Yeah.
And you know, it's probably on your website.
No, don't do it. No.
About, you know, brand names and that sort of a thing, and how one might actually just start with maybe 2 cameras
Yeah.
and go up from there.
Yeah.
I'd really like to emulate you, but
Yeah, no, on our website, it's texasbackyardwildlife.com. Down at the bottom of one of the
Yeah,
pages.
there's a link, there's a footer link that says info about our setup and cameras.
Yeah,
And
which it tells
Yeah.
you kind of brand names. Literally, I may have Amazon links, you know, and here's what we use. It is complicated. It is. I'm not going to undersell this. It's it's complicated. Even 2 or whatever. It's still you know, because I'm not techie at all, and I've stumbled through and learned all of it, you know, kind of by the seat of my pants.
that does not look like stumbling.
I'm sorry.
no, but it's been years and years of work, and Dan has spent thousands of hours on setting things up. I spend hours every day on putting out water and cleaning out the tub and putting, you know, candles out for the raccoons and all that kind of stuff. Social media, yeah, answering questions like, after the fawns were born this time last week, someone saying, "Oh my God, they still have their spots." You know, they were barely.
3 hours old.
Yeah.
Yes, they still have your spot.
You had a question.
Well, you said William Cannon, what's the closest other big experience?
By brush country.
Okay.
Yeah, we're about a quarter mile west of brush country on the north side of William Cannon.
Yes.
2 questions. One, how do we watch the BBC picture?
Yeah, I recently had somebody tell me that, oh, my husband saw your BBC thing on YouTube. Like, no, I didn't know that was available. But the program was called Wild Dogs in the Wild.
Dogs in the Wild,
Dogs in the Wild.
Meet the Family.
Yeah.
If you send us grab a card, I can send you a Vimeo link to it.
Yeah, we can send you a link to it. So.
Yeah, because
Question of your spare time, have you thought about video documentary or TV?
Well,
this kind of is a documentary.
no, we have, and it's hard to get into the back door of the places where you need to get into. The BBC, they found us. That has led to other potential opportunities. There are people who are scouting us, shopping us out to National Geographic and Disney and Planet, you know, whatever, you know, for stuff. And some of that will probably happen at some point, you know, because it's a sort of a unique story of stuff.
So much for sharing.
But yeah.
It's fun, we're obsessed.
But yeah, no, we would love to get it out, so.
Second row on the bottom, second.
Oh, it's a porcupine.
Porcupine.
Yeah. That's up in a tree, about 20 feet up in a tree.
He was
It's
very
probably
annoyed.
the very first one we ever saw about 4 years ago. And we occasionally see them on camera at night. That was during the day. It was awake, and yet I may have woken it up. I was out walking around there, and I was looking for Alice. And found him. so.
And the little one, bottom far left, is a little possum in an owl box.
Yeah.
You know, once again, no owl. But look
Yeah.
at that hand, isn't it great? It's just lovely.
Have you put out drawings for your record?
No, we never have.
Put out what?
My next door neighbor put drawings.
No,
They crack
no.
them, they hold them in the little hands, and they look at them, put drawings. It's really cute.
See, I've heard that foxes
Wow.
lay drawings.
Now, these raccoons, they will come to them.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll try it.
Yeah. I did a little short, a couple-week project with the Owl Research Institute up in Montana. Just in the last few weeks, they were helping them film short-eared owls that are ground nesting. They nest on the dirt. And the whole project was about what's eating their eggs and their chicks. And I'll say, what besides coyotes are eating their eggs and chicks?
Snakes, yeah.
So that's what they're studying, and that's one of the things they're studying.
Now, my neighbors would put a drawing out there,
Yeah.
and they'd watch it and come up every night. He'd crack that egg and fold it in the hands.
Wow.
Oh,
It's pretty
wow.
Funny. And I see another, yeah.
Well, so what kind of was the genesis of this? I mean, since you're not really a techie, or how did y'all decide that you wanted to start?
Just curiosity. It just,
Yeah.
we after Dan's dog left, we were walking on one of the trails, and I remember our excitement. Oh my God, there have been deer. Look, there are footprints. And
Well, lots of you have deer. We
Yeah,
didn't.
we
have
didn't.
deer. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
You know,
and we thought we didn't have deer.
I had moved from, or I was moving from London, where all we have really is, we have rats and crows. Well, and pigeons, you know. And so this was kind of fascinating. And so we put out, Dan bought a couple of trail cams, and then we got one security camera just to watch the backyard. And that's all we need, you know. We have 5 acres, but there's a sort of clearing bit right by the house. So it's just, you know. And yeah, now we have 61.
So yeah.
But you had a question, I think, also.
I was going to ask the size of your land.
Yeah, 5
So you
acres,
said from
yeah.
5 to 61.
Yeah. Our next
5
door
acres,
neighbors
yeah.
also are 5 acres on Williamson Creek, right there.
Yep.
On William Gannon. And they're kind of similar minded. We, broke a hole in our common fence so that the critters could come and go freely, and they do. And they film them also, not like this, but they have game cameras and a couple of ring type.
Yeah.
That's the wrong brand, but like that. Yeah, and they're similarly into the, preserve the wildlife and do what they do. So yeah.
We should, Paul's starting to stare at us.
Let them go.
Come on, Paul, we
Free the audience.
only went an hour over. I mean, I warned you it would be.
Give him a round of applause.